Hello everyone, this is our fourth video on accounting for high school. In the previous video, we talked about journals regarding the cells as well as drawing. In this video, we'll be talking about some normal and abnormal entries. We'll be solving a mix-up question, yeah? So let's start. The first one is X started business with cash 200,000 and bank balance 1 million. The journal entry for this will be cash account debit, bank account debit to capital account. Cash account debit 100,000, bank account debit 1 million to capital account 120. So the next question is goods purchased for cash. In this case, we have purchased goods and we have paid cash. That is purchase account debit to cash account with the respective balance. The next type of entry is good purchased from Mr. Y. As you can see that this is the case of credit purchase. So the journal entry will be purchase account debit to Mr. Y account 17,000. So the next type of entry is paid cash to Mr. Y. In the previous case, we had purchased from Mr. Y on credit. Now we are paying cash to Mr. Y. So the entry is Mr. Y account debit to cash account. Here, Mr. Y is in debit side because Mr. Y is the receiver here and we have paid cash, that is our cash went out, so cash is in credit side. So the next question is goods sold to Mr. Z. Here Mr. Z is the receiver and we have sold the goods. So the journal entry is Mr. Z account debit, receiver account debit to sales account. The next question is received cash from Mr. Z. We sold to Mr. Z on credit. Now we are receiving cash from Mr. Z. That is, debit what comes in, cash comes in debit. Mr. Z is the giver, Mr. Z account credit. So the entry is cash account debit to Mr. Z account. The next type of entry is paid wages and insurance of 1,000 and 2,000 respectively. Here wages and insurance are our expense. As the nominal account principle says, debit all expenses and losses. Wages and insurance goes on debit side. Wages account debit, insurance account debit to cash account. We are paying wages and insurance through cash. So the next type of entry is old machinery costing 800 was sold for 900. The machine was of cost worth $800, but we are selling it for $900. This means that we are gaining a profit of $100. Nominal account principle says that all the profit and gains goes on credit side. So the journal entry will be cash account debit. We are receiving $900. The machine was worth only $800. The machine goes out, so to machine account $800 to profit on sell $100. The next type of entry is furniture of 500 was sold for 300 only. The furniture was worth 500, but now we are selling it for less than our cost. That is, we are selling it for $300. We are selling it at loss. As the nominal account principle says that all the expenses and losses goes on debit side. So the entry is cash account debit 300. We are receiving only $300. The loss on sell, we are giving it at low cost, where that is we are getting in loss. Loss on sell account debit 200 to furniture account 500. The next type of entry is goods purchased from Mr. A of $2,000 by paying $1,200 in cash and remaining in credit. In this case, we are purchasing goods, but we are paying only half of the amount. That is, we are paying only $1,200 and the remaining is credit. So the entry will be purchase account debit 2,000. We are purchasing goods worth $2,000, but we are paying in cash only $1,200. That is, cash goes out only worth of $1,200. Purchase account debit 2,000 to cash account $1,200 and the remaining is liability to us. We need to pay it again. So Mr. Z is our liability to Mr. Z account 800. The next type of entry is 900 received from Mr. B in full settlement. In this case, we need to receive $1,000, but we received only $900. That is, we gave discount to Mr. B. So giving discount to other is an expense to us. So the entry will be cash account debit 900, which we received only 900. Expense, the discount here seems to be our expense. So discount account debit 100 to Mr. B account 1000. So this much for today. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe.